Hello ladies and gents, and welcome to my Pixel Cafe review on the PlayStation 5. Pixel Cafe categorises itself as an arcade time manager and visual novel, which is a type of game I've never played before, so I wasn't too sure what I was going to get out of this experience. You play the role of Pixel, whose parents decided to leave her with her grandparents in order to raise her from a young age. So Pixel has a lot of resentment for her parents and isn't sure about what path to follow in life. After some time, Pixel's grandparents pass away and leave her the home that she was raised in as a child. Pixel, who's now in her 20s, returns to her grandparents' home, and it's here where the game begins. Pixel is absolutely strapped for cash, and after inheriting her grandparents' home, she needs the funds to be able to maintain the place. Now, the first level begins with Pixel successfully getting a job at a restaurant and being shown the ropes. So let's go ahead and jump into how the core gameplay functions. So customers will approach your counter with a pop-up box displaying their desired order. The box also displays a time meter, which is represented by a green bar which will decay. If their meter goes into the red and they don't receive their order in time, they'll leave the counter and you'll lose a life. Now to start, you'll only have a few beverage and food choices to serve, with the button inputs being easy to remember, as well as prompts showing on screen. For example, to make a coffee, you'll tap L1 and wait for it to be dispensed. When it's ready, you'll get an audible notification to tap L1 again to stop it from overflowing. If the beverage does overflow, you'll have to throw it away, which will be deducted from your wage. At the start of the game, you'll only have to worry about making waffles and putting them on a plate. But you'll eventually have to cook a multitude of different foods, which can be burned or spoiled if you don't pay attention. This is also deducted from your wage. So each level or shift only lasts a few minutes, ranging from approximately 3 to 5. So in this time period, you need to serve as many customers as you can. When you start the game, you only have 2 counters, which you'll constantly be changing to meet the demands of new customers. Each counter has different foods and drinks and adds a new snack or drink in each shift. The game's level scoring system is defined by cups of coffee, with 3 cups of coffee being the highest score you can obtain. Now you can pass each shift with 1 cup of coffee, but if you fail too many orders in one shift, you'll fail the level. You also have a special meter, which essentially allows you to slow down time. Now this is extremely handy when you've got multiple customers with big orders, as you get a bit more breathing space to get the snacks prepared. As well as your regular shifts, you'll also have bonus night shift levels. Now these are considerably harder as you have significantly less time to prepare dishes, as well as large influx of customers. Now these are completely optional, but I recommend doing them for the sake of extra coins. And on that note, let's go ahead and talk about coins. So, for each shift you complete, you're awarded coins, of course. Now these coins can be used to upgrade your serving counters. So for example, adding an additional coffee station. Now this will let you make 2 coffees at the same time, or adding an additional slot to prepare food on. Now trust me when I tell you that these can be absolute lifesavers when your orders get heavy. You can also use the coins to upgrade Pixel's home with new furniture and equipment. So upgrading Pixel's home will give you a special currency that allows you to upgrade Pixel's stats, which are referred to as hero stats. Here you can upgrade the length of your special meter duration, reduce the risk of your food burning, and decrease the cost of throwing ruined dishes away. Now, there is an overworld hub that lets you traverse to your house and other restaurants as and when they become available. If you fail a level, don't worry, as you can redo it as many times as you want, and no, there is no penalty for doing so. The game has a calendar system where you can select any shift that you've played before, as well as having access to night missions. Now, if you struggle with a shift, use your coins to level up serving counters or Pixel and return when you are ready. So straight up, I like the pixelated art direction that the game devs went with. They definitely nailed the old school feel with a great colour palette as well. The cutscene drops the chibi style and game look for a more cartoonish look, and of course they're also pixelated. Again, this is a nice touch. Also, the music is great, with my favourite song being at the very first restaurant you work in. So I'm going to shut my gob for a second. I'm going to give you a sneak peek, so just listen to this. The game itself categorises itself as a visual novel, but it wasn't really text heavy. You get a few story panels in each level, and they're only about a minute or 2 each. I personally thought the story to gameplay balance was perfect. They didn't try to stretch or pad the game out with additional fluff that it just doesn't need. I finished the game with 8 hours of playtime, was disappointed when the game abruptly ended, but that disappointment was extremely short-lived. And you're most likely expecting me to tell you, well, why, Senor Donut? Why? Well, I'm not going to do that. So you'll have to play the game and find out why for yourself. What I will say is that the devs have done a great job on this game, and for £10 I have no complaints. Well, I do have one complaint, but it's not the game's fault per se. Basically, my trophies for Pixel Cafe, they will not sync to PlayStation Network. Now, I've tried every trick in the book, nothing works. I actually downloaded another game just to get a trophy and see if it syncs, and it did. On a side note, the game I downloaded was Iron Bread, and oh my god, this is one of the shittiest games I've ever played. You know, if I had the choice of playing Iron Bread or getting my nuts trapped between some bifolding doors, well, you best believe I'm going to the accident and emergency room. But I digress. I enjoyed Pixel Cafe and give it the Senor Donut stamp of approval. If you enjoyed my review, I'd ask that you leave a like. If you have any idea on my next video to review, then I'd ask that you leave a comment. And if you want to see future uploads, then you can go ahead and subscribe. I'm Senor Donut, and thank you very much for watching.